hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Not on anyone else's mic.
This is awkward now.
Everybody whisper.
Everything's awkward.
Everybody whisper to see if she can hear you in your own mic.
This is me whispering in my own mic. Why the fuck am I doing this?
Exactly.
Because you'll just do anything Bill says anyway.
No. I am not under Pinocchio's spell. You are.
Well, how about just sound check?
Let me mute that.
Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm Seth.
I'm John.
I'm Audie.
And Charles.
And we're here today to talk about the most exciting development in the last week, the release of Star Wars Episode 9.
Well, I mean, by the time people are listening to this, it'll be in the last 3 weeks.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. But
it probably would
Two
still
and a half
qualify.
weeks. Indeed.
Although, December 24th, which is just days away
for us, but it's
for us,
week
and
a
days
half in
behind
past,
for the people
yeah,
that are
yeah.
watching the podcast. But December 24th is the release of the Season 2 of Lost in Space.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of days to catch up on The Mandalorian before I have to crash and burn on Lost in Space.
It
Yeah.
is a good thing I'm taking on a new personal programming project because I have a lot of TV shows to finish watching now. Oy.
Yes.
I'm kind of sad all this is coming out at the same time, though. It's like not spreading it out over the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a pretty significant dry period coming up.
Well, and that's a problem I think I have with streaming, is that you tend to stream things and just bulk through the whole season in a week or two, and then you've got 12 months to wait for the next season to come
See,
out.
I think it's actually better on my heart because, like, I can remember back in high school watching Babylon 5 as it came out,
Yeah.
and then hitting that mid-season break where it was always a cliffhanger and having to wait a month for a new episode, missing that episode, and like this is better for me. I can keep going at my own pace.
Well, listen, I like the breaks because the breaks give you a chance to talk about it over dinner with friends and theorize over where you think it's going and explore different possibilities.
That's what movies are for.
Speaking of which,
Are you
Star
going
Wars.
to try and
Well,
keep us on task?
For some of the
There is no
HBO
test.
stuff,
We've already
and Prime
determined
too,
this
I
is
think it is.
a
If you
free
start at
for
the
all.
beginning,
Yeah.
when they release it, you can have it just like with the TV.
Right.
I mean,
Because I think HBO just releases one a
one
week.
a week. Netflix
Yeah.
though, I remember
They
bulk
it's
it.
all
The
at
whole
once.
thing.
And Amazon bulks
So-
it.
Also, The Witcher just came out.
Yeah,
on
I
Netflix.
haven't watched
I
that
have
yet,
heard
but I
good
saw
things.
it.
I haven't seen it yet, but I heard that Henry Cavill
The
nails
Witcher?
The Witcher.
it. Yeah,
He's the witchest.
it's
Oh.
from a video game actually
Oh.
called The Witcher. So,
Yeah.
And what was
So-
the premise of that game?
You are a witcher,
Which means
Witch Hunter.
whichever you want.
witchy. You're kind of witchy. You do witch things.
I'm not actually. I've never actually played the games. It's one of those on my list of to play, but they're 100 to 200 hour games, and I've only got so many of those in me every year. But The Witcher 3 Witcher 3 Wild Hunt just came out on Switch, so I'm kind of hoping to get that for Christmas. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge to any listeners.
So in the middle of January when this episode plays.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take Christmas
Or Christmas
presents.
2020.
Yeah.
But no, but the definition of the Witcher.
He is a monster hunter.
Okay.
As far, so he is a monster hunter. I think he kills rogue magic users or whatever, and has a lot of sex.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so see, now it's gotten weird because I was thinking with Witcher, since it's not Warlock, that it was kind of maybe a woke version of
gender
of
equality
Witcher.
of magic use.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'm looking at online here. So it says the series revolves around the Witcher.
Geralt of Rivia.
Yeah. Witchers are beast hunters who develop supernatural abilities at a young age to battle wild beasts and monsters. It's based on a series of novels and short stories written by a Polish author, Andrzej Sapkowski.
I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Henry
So-
Cavill. How do you say his name?
Cavill, yeah.
So that sounds kind of good.
Yeah, the series is supposed to be really good from everything I've heard, and the games are supposed to be really good from everything I've heard. Just, time investments, but mostly.
Well, speaking of Henry Cavill, do you think he seems to be petitioning to remain a Superman? Should he? Because I thought he was trying to distance himself. I thought he wanted out, but now he's saying he wants in. And maybe he realizes that nerd is the butter on his bread, and it's like he's come to a realization of where his fan base really is. I don't know why, but should he be Superman? I say yeah.
See,
I like him as a Superman. To tell you the
Well,
truth.
is DC I've heard that Wonder Woman 1984 is gonna reboot the DC cinematic universe.
Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But already in the previews, one of the previews showed Chris Pine's watch. You remember the watch he gave to Diana in the original? So since that's set in the DCCU, how far could this have departed from? If elements, first of all, how does Chris Pine come back from the dead? Because he blew up real big.
Yeah, so I guess
he
since
blew
we're
himself into another time zone, obviously.
Several times on
since
that.
we've wandered onto it, who here's seen the 1984 or Wonder Woman 1984 trailer?
I did.
Oh, I don't know.
No.
But I haven't paid attention to it if I've seen it.
It looks good.
It does. It really does. It looks like it's going to be a really good movie. It's like Kristen Wiig might actually have a role that I can get behind 100% now. We'll see. Been waiting.
Ghostbusters 2016, fight me. I liked it.
I did too. I loved that. I'm kind of I feel bad because it was obviously a premise film, which means they were setting up the entire premise. I think the second film would have been outstanding, even though I did like the first one. But sad puppies are what sad puppies are.
Indeed. But no, I mean, so Max Lord, I am far weaker on my DC lore than on my Marvel Comics lore, but they really went the Donald Trump route with him.
With who? Cavill?
No, Max Lord, the villain in one of the villains in Wonder Woman.
I don't know what you mean. Oh, God, yeah.
Oh boy.
It looks like. Can you Can you get a picture of Max Lord? It's like, cause it's like.
Yeah, that one.
Sean?
Yeah, there it is.
Just grab it and throw it on the screen.
I wish I could do that.
Don't
ya?
you?
Man,
Wouldn't
that
it
would
be
be so
awesome?
great. And
I
you
want
did it
that.
fucking again.
What?
You said
Called me Sean.
I did?
Yes.
It's his fault.
I was waiting for
No,
you.
no.
The bastard at the end of the table down there.
You have a reflex action of blaming me for the things that you do.
I think
So
it's your
like-
fault now. He does it on purpose.
Yeah,
You actually
Because he does it on purpose,
I am.
I do it accidentally.
Yes, you do.
It was up for a while.
No, that bad guy. I like.
Yeah,
that
so
look.
see, he looks like
that is
That's a
a
definitely
Donald
Trump.
Trump looking.
This is
There's definitely an
Swift
influence there.
businessman,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Let's.
little 70s flair. But,
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
seeing him get punched through a building would do my soul a lot of good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Anywho,
something to look
All right,
forward to.
so
we've strayed.
We've strayed quite a
game
bit.
show host.
let's bring her back around. And
This guy
and
looks
so
kind of like what Drew Carey looks like now. It's like Drew Carey used to be fat and happy, but now he's like really thin and miserable on Price is Right. He used to be a comedian.
Oh,
now.
Drew Carey. Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in,
He's on Price is Right.
He's
You wouldn't-
still on Price is Right?
You wouldn't recognize him. He looks just like someone took his soul, and like in Star Wars, Rise of the Skywalker.
to bring it back.
I mean,
when
well,
the Emperor took the life energy from
Spoilers.
yeah.
so, oh yes,
Well, the
heavy
whole- we're gonna
spoilers
put
on all
there's
the
gonna
things
be
today.
spoilers here. So, but
So
yes.
this is your warning if you don't want to be spoiled on Star Wars, if you haven't seen it
Or The
yet.
Price is Right.
In case you haven't seen this, yes.
Yeah.
The Emperor sucked the soul out of Drew Carey.
Spoiler
And it's
warning,
like, it's
The
rough.
Price is Right is a gypsy curse.
Yes.
And Drew Carey
It is!
hit a gypsy with a car. Oh, wait, I shouldn't say that. That's not right. No.
Right.
Well,
That
I
is
think
not-
the curse is actually. I think
It's
Bob,
just
Bob
a curse.
Barker is the
I'm
gypsy.
sorry.
Bob
All right,
Barker
well,
is the gypsy curse.
Star
He caused
Wars. What was your favorite part of the episode 9?
Okay, so heavy kind of spoiler. Well, I guess I still had a lot of favorite parts. Like there were some like real emotional high points for me, like when the huge fleet that they raised came out of hyperspace. That was really good. But I think my favorite one was at the very end where Rey like buries the lightsabers on Tatooine, and then you get to see her own lightsaber.
Right.
Which Bill's going to have to buy one of now.
Right. Which,
That was-
interestingly, she's
Well, they
got a
have to
yellow.
make one for
I
Yellow
know
blade.
that was a really interesting
Yeah,
change.
yellow blade.
where-
Is he also going to need to bury two in the backyard?
Told is the traditional color of a gray Jedi. So yeah, which means that Rey's in balance.
Balanced.
That's the gray thing. Is that you can't dismiss either side. You have to embrace both.
I didn't really see her as embracing both sides at the end.
No.
Well,
She didn't
I
seem
think
very.
Seemed to be full on Jedi at the end.
I think she was dismissing Jedi's. I think.
No.
Yeah, I mean, and what's the deal with like the farm on Tatooine, that moisture evaporator farm, just sitting there for 50 years waiting for someone to come and take it, just like that ship from the Sith that was sitting in the desert. That Poe just opened the door and turned on, and it's like no one, is going to take that.
Yeah, the looters haven't been up to
Yeah,
snuff
the
lately.
Jawas would be all over that thing.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
well, it wasn't on
yeah.
Tatooine, but
Yeah.
but
Mo-
it's
moisture
Jawa
farming-
equivalent.
yeah.
moisture farming didn't look like exactly a glamorous or wonderful profession in episode 4. So
But I could see squatters moving into that house.
Yeah.
maybe, but maybe like you've got
Sand
then
squatters.
you've got a problem
Yeah.
with maybe then you've got a problem with sand people.
Right.
Like, I mean, and like squatting out in the middle of nowhere doesn't really seem like a great idea.
True.
Because you don't have food. You might have moisture and blue milk if you can get the evaporators working again. But I don't know. Wouldn't be my first place to squat.
But why is Rey there? I mean, is it just to try to tie her to the Skywalkers somehow?
She was honoring Luke and
Leia.
Luke and Leia, but burying the. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Nothing.
She was burying
Going all
his.
macho man Randy Savage. Hey, brother. Yeah, come on.
She was burying Luke's lightsaber where his journey started.
Yes.
Yeah, they were trying to finish the journey, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
I thought it was a nice wrap.
I did too.
But
I will say I missed it up a little bit there near the end with that particular thing. It's like, because I thought, it's over. And that's kind of where I got with the whole deal. When it was done, I'm like, it's done.
Well, Leia's lightsaber should have been buried on Alderaan. There's got to be pieces of that all over the place.
Alderaan chunks where Alderaan space was.
I'm just gonna say this for everybody. I'm gonna say this for everybody. Too soon. Okay, we're not over the death of Alderaan yet. You just rubbed it in our face.
Right.
Damn you.
Right.
Damn you.
All right. So that was your highlight,
one of several, but go ahead,
John.
No, I gotta say that you hit it pretty well on that one.
I thought John would pick the nude scene.
Was there a nude scene? I don't remember a nude scene.
What movie did you go to?
Yeah, where did you go? It's like you need to wake.
He was
you need to
sleeping
wake
the
up.
second time around.
Yeah,
You must have had a very interesting.
The second time I saw it, I was just listening to the audio and making it up in my mind.
well, you should never do that again.
And there was a nude scene.
It's like let's.
And how did Chewie look up?
That was one of the good parts. Like at the end where they're wrapping everything up, Chewie finally got a medal.
Yeah, but
Chewie finally got a medal.
I
but
like
it
that a
seemed
lot.
kind of ridiculous.
Why?
Why then?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not any time before then?
Well, it should have been in the first movie.
It's
in
been
episode 4.
20
It should have
He
got-
definitely
30
earned
years.
his medal.
been
30
40.
years later?
you have made a
Yeah.
point that I don't
thought
think
that
they've
was
ever
I mean,
shown.
all Wookiee
dumb.
lives matter. Come on.
I thought that was dumb.
I don't think they've ever shown sex using the Force.
Ooh.
I didn't know that was a point that anyone made, but okay,
Yeah.
let's
Well, he kind
do you
of
want to?
something
Do you
nude.
really?
And I just was just
You know the button you just pressed with Bill, right? It's like,
yeah, well,
they're
I'm just
gonna-
saying
There's no one
it's
pressing that
been
button.
missed
Yeah, there's-
because
yeah.
I mean we know from all the
Do you
the
remember,
father
do you
problems
remember
that
all
has
the problems
happened.
you had with waifus? You're about
Yeah.
to get that again right now from Bill. In terms
I don't know
of-
anything about what you're
There's a
talking
lot.
about.
Just
Ooh, yeah, there's the belt.
Yes. No,
yeah,
that's
that was
the medal.
Han's
Or the medal.
Was it Han's medal?
Same one.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know who else's medal Leia would have, but it's like, yeah.
but I mean, go ahead, get on Google, search Jedi
Sure,
sex
but I
positions, and
Just saying,
Well,
open your mind to the possibilities.
series isn't complete.
Well, cool. We just opened ourselves up to a whole new niche of listeners.
Are there
There's the title for the episode: Jedi sex positions.
are there any vibrating lightsabers?
Well, I'm sure there is. I'm
That doesn't
100%.
sound good.
I don't even need to look to know that. You know,
To know that there are.
That is,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
not fun
yes.
unless you're risking losing a limb or
I
something.
think that's straight up Rule 34, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, if it exists.
yeah.
There is porn of it.
Yeah.
It is.
What's it
What?
say?
Yeah.
My medal's gonna be awesome.
Oh.
And then both of his dogs have to die before he ever gets a medal.
Yeah.
I feel that Chewbacca got madder at Leia's death than he did
No, he was
at
like.
Han's death.
This is one of the reasons that I wanted to be able to rewatch the whole the first two movies in this trilogy before, but he was like awful mad at when he saw Han die.
Yeah, angry at Kylo screaming.
He was busy at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To survive. So
There was a whole planet exploding underneath
Had
them.
to shoot his way out from
Yeah.
the First Order. You know.
But again, when he got back to the rebel base, you would have think that Chewie and Leia would have embraced.
Yeah, and that's JJ's saddest thing that he wrote
Yeah.
about in a post on comicbook.com is that I didn't have Chewie and Leia hug
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah, you can't
you just
go
see
back
him-
and do
you
that
just
anymore
see-
either.
Yeah, you just see Chewie just walk right by Leia, and she goes and proceeds to hug Rey.
I'm very happy that we've turned a corner and did not pursue the Jedi sexual positions any further.
You
So
keep
I think
bringing
it's
it
like-
up.
keep bringing
You
us
keep
back
bringing
to
it
it.
up.
I don't care. I'm
We
actually
are moving
remarking
on.
on our growth as people.
It'll come back. It's just like Palpatine.
Yeah.
Palpatine.
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 Yeah.
And
Same
that,
thing.
that bugged me. It's like they didn't feel like the need to say why he was back,
That
or
was.
where he's been, or how that happened.
Yeah,
or
it was
what,
kinda
you know.
weird.
I did have a that does bug me that they didn't spend
Although-
any time explaining. Just like, how are
How
you
he
back?
survived, right?
The dark side has powers that some would call.
But the machine he was
Unnatural.
hooked up to, though.
Well,
was
and then
fun.
what's his name from Lost? Linda, what was his name on Lost? The Charlie on Lost.
The little short guy.
Yeah.
Looks like a hobbit.
You just said
But
that
no-
like
but
it's
no.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
But no, how did you get back here?
yeah.
I
no,
don't
agree.
actually know. It doesn't
don't
make
know,
any
yeah.
sense.
You ask JJ. I don't know. I don't know how I did it. It's like,
Dominic Monaghan,
okay,
his character. So he said when they're at the base there, talking about the fact that Palpatine's back, he says, "Well, the Jedi have all kinds of abilities, cloning and whatever." He made that comment.
Yeah, I remember he gave a list
Yeah.
of machines.
well, I mean that would go
mean,
in with a lot of expanded universe stuff,
Jedi
but
dark
it's like
science.
the Emperor was supposed to have cloned himself.
And
Yeah,
there,
it's
the big question in my mind is like, yes, I can see him surviving up until this point in hiding, but how in the hell did he get out of the middle of the Death Star 2 minutes
Yeah.
before it went boom?
Yeah,
He was busy falling down a shaft
yeah,
Right.
with lightning hands.
yeah.
Well,
Right.
they also kept Darth Vader's mask this whole time.
Yeah.
Somehow they
Well, no,
found it
right.
in the rubble of the
Well,
Death Star.
they-
Well, no, they
they-
had that.
They took him down to the planet to cremate him.
Yeah.
If you
Right.
remember.
Oh,
Luke
with his
burned
mask.
his body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
but-
Which is why it was melted.
But yeah,
So,
yeah, but
That's right. I remember.
anyway, yeah, I still don't know how it made it back.
Well, you mean how Kylo got a hold of it?
Yeah,
I don't know either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
dug it up on
Ewoks.
Endor
You know-
Yeah.
What, well, yeah, but
and
come to
somehow
think of it-
avoided being killed by Ewoks.
Yeah.
well, the Ewoks
Murder
should all
bears.
be dead because when the piece of the Death Star that big crashes into the surface, it would literally destroy the ecology. So they should all be dead.
Nothing can stop the Ewoks. You saw that. We talked about that in a whole episode.
You
Murder
can't-
bears will
the
out.
murder bears can't murder like a multi-kilometer piece of Death Star that's coming down.
I mean,
So,
obviously you don't
yeah.
know murder. The only thing that's keeping galactic civilization together is the fact that the Ewoks can't get off their planet yet.
Well, all right, but the Ewoks are very dependent on their coffee crop. They are, and it is. Look it up. Look it up. It's there. Honestly, the galaxy, the Ewoks make money off their coffee crop. And
I
the
heard
Death
that it was
Star
an
would-
Ewok version of Kopi Luwak.
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
What,
Yeah, we're gonna let that
You
go.
brought this
You
on
don't need-
yourself.
how? I don't
You
know.
brought this on yourself.
What is Kopi Luwak?
No.
And he
Hold
digs
on.
right in.
I
No,
don't
no,
know.
you don't need to
You
Google
won't
it.
tell me, so I'm going to
Oh.
get the master of nasty to
This
tell
is
me all about
this
it.
is actually better than I was expecting. I thought we were like headed straight first into a pun.
Mm.
All right.
What
Here
pun
it
did we
is.
miss?
Yeah.
Didn't you
What?
see the bucket
What?
list?
Yeah.
So
Bucket list. That's right.
Kopi Luwak.
We didn't critical, but we didn't get a 1.
Right.
So.
Kopi Luwak is coffee that includes partially digested coffee cherries eaten and defecated by the Asian palm civet. Fermentation occurs as the cherries pass through a civet's intestines, and after being defecated with other fecal matter, they are collected, cleaned, and made into coffee beans.
Something
So,
tells me this is
the-
like just from the look on Linda's face right now. This is something she's had to listen to at least once before.
The Ewok version of that would be similar then.
Are you saying the Ewoks eat the coffee
Yes.
beans and then they
Defecate
gather them?
out, then they gather them, and then they sell them to the Empire to make their coffee.
I mean, I think you're gonna have to. Like,
John thinks it's plausible.
you're gonna have to
Well,
sell that
I
to
mean,
Lucasfilm.
So
I
the
think.
coffee tastes like shit.
I don't know if the Ewoks should do that.
It's the Ewoks' revenge on the Empire.
But
Yeah.
The corporate
the
interests of the
the
Empire.
Ewoks already
might-
took their revenge on the Empire. They're just rubbing it in now.
Yes,
I'm
Audie,
sorry,
your
were you
favorite
trying
moment?
to break in with comments this entire time?
Yeah.
Well, then jump in, man.
No. I don't have a favorite part.
No favorite part?
Well,
Nope,
then
not really.
what's your least favorite part?
The ending.
The ending. No.
The fact that it ended?
No.
It's over.
Yeah, that's it.
How
That's
did you
all.
feel? It's like, because it's literally 40 years of my life is now the door closed. And it's like, for good or bad, however you thought about the movie, doesn't matter to the fact that the Skywalker saga has ended.
Yes.
It's done.
Okay,
And it's
my
like,
least favorite part is what most of the scenes were actually predictable.
yeah, they were.
Yeah,
it
they
was
were.
kind of.
I mean, Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching.
Well,
it for
you
40
say that
years.
now,
I
but-
pretty much predict
Yeah.
everything that's going to
But
happen.
as a kid, now I don't know, maybe the adults saw it coming, but Darth Vader being Luke's father.
That was it. Yeah.
Right, you're like, what, how?
Yeah.
You know, that was.
But that's really the only twist Star Wars has ever really
Well, and
thrown at us.
Well,
Leia being sister.
yeah.
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 But like
It
the
was-
prequel trilogies, were there any real twists in the
No,
prequel
those
trilogies?
sucked.
Yeah.
I'm judging them less harshly than I used to be.
They
I
could have.
feel that in terms of expanding the universe, it was very important, but they could have come off a little less. And Jar Jar was absolutely unexcusable.
Well, that
But-
and see, here's my I guess my least favorite part, which is it's more like a whole, but this last one he played, everything was played to the fans.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fan service to this one.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, Luke Skywalker changed his. The fans didn't like how Luke Skywalker went out. And he goes, "Well, I was wrong," which is to me very weird for a ghost to do. But
Jedi get time to reflect in the afterlife.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of ghosts are filled with regret.
But it's the same
Well,
thing. Like I feel like, and I know this is Abrams and not Lucas, but the vision, like Jar Jar, I think they should have kept him
Oh God.
and either tortured him or made him the bad guy.
That would have been a very fun
Right,
twist.
right.
is Like
Yeah.
Darth Jar
Which,
Jar.
and I know that was a
Darth-
theory for a while
Darth
there that he
Binks
was
is
the
coming
Darth.
for everybody. It's like
Well, so that would have been rather than Palpatine,
that would have been kind of.
if
awesome
you've got
when
Jar
you think
Jar,
about it. Yeah.
Jar Jar's eyes come out, and the ears flap a little, and that's who they're having to fight.
Yeah.
They would have killed him a lot faster, though.
Well, not if he was evil.
Yeah.
Misa destroy all the planets. Okie day.
Okay. No. It's like I can finally drop that stupid voice. Misa, destroy you all.
Yeah.
So but then again, I kind of like to see, in like a lot of shows, where the fans are disappointed, but it's kind of a cool ending.
That's just.
I've always been on board with that. Like you don't.
It's over. Now,
Yeah.
now, for good or bad, the Disney can open up the universe to be whatever it wants.
Yeah.
It's no longer constrained.
Do you
by the
think they will
original
ever do
Skywalker.
any more movies with Rey?
I think.
Someone said that perhaps in like 10 years.
So
They'll
what I
bring her
think is
back.
going to happen is Rey is going to refound the Jedi Order,
Uh-huh.
and her role in at least movies in the immediate future is going to be more of the master position, and we're going to focus in on younger Jedi if we're still focusing on Jedi at all. So we will maybe see an older Rey in future movies.
Do you think there'll be
in
a
a
Finn
master.
movie, and in that case, will Rey train Finn? Because Finn, the secrets that he was going to tell Rey was not that he loved her; it was that he was a Force sensitive.
That would be really cool, and
Yeah.
I would like that would be a really cool thing. And something that did disappoint me is that they didn't actually get around to him actually telling her his secret.
Yeah.
It's like,
And if that was his secret, why would he feel it important to tell her as they're sinking into this quick gravel or whatever?
And why
the hell
wouldn't
it
he
was?
tell Poe? Because he
Right.
seemed resistant in telling Poe.
Right.
And it's like, yeah. So I don't know, but that is what JJ said
Oh.
was the secret.
And you can see that throughout the Last Jedi is that he was like showing, and even as early as they were kind of teasing that even as early as The Force Awakens.
When he started
when he got handed the lightsaber, and like I was actually expecting that to come out long before now, is that he was Force sensitive as well, and that's part of why he didn't take to the stormtrooper conditioning, and maybe that's like that would be something interesting to do in future movies. Is that like they said that other stormtroopers had like fallen out of the conditioning, and maybe that's something of how they start identifying their
whole bunches of them. Apparently. But
the Empire was grabbing up all the kids they could find.
Yeah.
They didn't explain why.
Well,
that's
Vader,
how that's how they
Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
That's how they crew their ships
Oh.
in the First Order, and like in the Empire, just generally is
Vader
Force
used to steal kids all the time. The Force sensitive kids to
My-
turn them into.
My problem with the movie, the thing that I didn't like the most was that huge fleet of Star Destroyers, because in my mind I'm like, where did they get the money to build that? And where are they hiding these shipyards?
Where did they
And
get
I
the
mean-
money to pay for the second Death Star in Episode 6?
The materials.
It's like,
How did
Just to build those ships would be
But I was thinking
Like-
about that last night when we were watching it again, and it's not like they came out of space; they came out of the ground.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
notice that? It was almost
like
like
out of, I thought it was like out of the ocean or
it's
something.
undead.
Figured out how to
there was
grow.
like a rock
See, this
falling off of them.
for me, this is the lesson that I took away from The Force Awakens, when the First Order at this point, just like a splinter group of the Empire,
Right.
had transformed this planet into a super weapon. I'm like, where in the heck did they get? They don't have tax money anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't have all the engineers and people.
Right.
They can't build that. Where'd they get it? And then I was just like, accept it. And
Yeah.
he's talking. Just
there are
let him go.
examples of that in the expanded universe, but again, you don't have the expanded universe anymore. So
The expanded universe. They almost always try. Like you didn't have a super weapon that just like came out of nowhere without something to.
Well, if you remember
to justify it.
the Super Star Destroyer that was buried on Corsican.
Well, yes,
yeah.
but that
So
had
that's kind of
they
an
had
example.
they had like explanations for that. In fact, I love the series
they didn't
that
explain
came from.
Palpatine coming back. Why do they feel they need to explain a fleet if they can't explain like one of the major antagonists?
And that's what
coming
I'm
Well, they
saying.
did. I mean,
Don't
they did
look
try
for
to
the-
explain it by saying, well, they do cloning and they've got.
That's
all
not an
kinds of-
explanation. That's just throwing stuff in the air and seeing
I know,
what
but at
sticks
least
to the
they
wall.
did that.
You know?
I
John?
mean, with the.
What?
The Emperor can exist without you having to know the explanation.
Apparently that is true.
It worked.
But
But I just couldn't see that many.
It chafes you as much as it chafes me.
Well, it is
And
a
I
weird
know that to
universe.
be
'Cause
true.
the way I see the Star Wars from the movies, because I've never gone deep into books or anything with
Yeah.
it, but it seems like energy is rather abundant. Yet personal wealth is hard to come by.
Yeah.
Is there money?
Oh yeah.
There is, because they go to the cantinas and such.
Cantina.
So
Yeah.
is that all that the money's for? Is buying booze?
Well,
Or
that's-
So what else would it be for booze?
What
and
else would you need it for?
alien
Well, buy
women?
food.
And
They
al-
addressed that in The Last Jedi, when they went to when.
Oh yeah, the casino.
when
That
Finn
tack
and
on to
Rose-
the whole
Yeah.
thing that made no sense at all. It was dumb.
It was fine.
It
It was
dumb.
Star Wars.
You just drink your Kool-Aid and we'll just talk about things like
This
big
is
people.
Coke Zero, and it was fine.
It was fine. A big old
Yeah.
It
so
made exactly as much sense as them taking Anakin Skywalker having to win a pod race to get them the
That made-
stuff that they needed to
Right.
get off the planet. It's Star Wars.
Right. Now, how many
See,
Star
that's-
Destroyers would you say that they had?
hundreds. Yeah.
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
or
Yeah.
maybe a-
Yeah.
So I mean,
And-
not only the materials to create them, and the need for shipyards to build them. Because how long do you think it takes to build a Star Destroyer?
Well, I'll bet the internet
well,
knows.
well,
With Palpatine's magic,
The
it
other
doesn't
thing
take
is-
any time at all.
they built all these Star Destroyers, but they really had like a Radio Shack version of a walkie-talkie system.
Yeah.
And the,
Yeah.
and
the single antenna to.
I know it's
the one antenna.
They ran all the starships from this one ham radio.
Yeah, right.
It's just that's all.
It's just like the laundry chute in the Death Star.
Right. Single point of failure.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's something interesting.
Here's something interesting. Do tell.
This Empire had something like 27,000 Star Destroyers. More than they could keep track of.
More than they could there's just so many. It's like kittens.
That they
just too
they
many
apparently they could apparently build something from build like the small ones in several months, and then a one of the Super Star Destroyers would take years to build.
Okay.
But it's like.
So even in several months, if you've got several hundred, you've got to have, in order to get it done in a timely fashion, you're going to have multiple shipyards.
Usually that kind of production involves being on a war footing, and the Empire was pretty much in control of everything.
Right.
It's like, so I don't know what would spur them. Unless the expanded universe, you remember the threat that...
Yeah, the Yuzhang Vong.
Yeah. So maybe. I always thought that was a very clever premise for the expanded... I thought that should have been pursued.
It was pursued for quite a while in the expanded universe books.
Because if that was what Palpatine was actually building all this stuff for, that makes him kind of a savior.
So what's the backstory here?
Oh.
All right, so expanded universe has of course dozens and dozens of books across its histories. It started off in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And started off with the Heir to the Empire trilogy by Timothy Zahn. And it goes through several different things, establishes tons and tons of lore, and then we hit the new Jedi Order, where Luke has the new Jedi Academy very firmly set up on Yavin, and there is an attack from outside the galaxy. And there's been a bunch of stuff hinted at up to this point about the Jedi and Palpatine sending out scouting things outside of the galaxy that Star Wars appears in. And there's this race out there called the Yuzhang Vong, who just go around obliterating galaxies, growing their fleet, and they're a galactic scale threat. And the real trick to them is that they are 100% immune from the Force. You can't sense them, you can't Force choke them, you can't throw them, your Jedi pilots can't sense their movements. So apparently one of the reasons, aside from being crazy evil, that Palpatine seized power is because he knew this threat was coming, and the Old Republic, as we know, didn't have a standing army.
Which would make him a galactic hero.
Except he was still stupid evil.
Well, yeah, but I mean, honestly, that's how sometimes people take power to avoid, to fight off massive threats that the general populace doesn't see. So, honestly, you could spin this as Palpatine trying to save everybody.
Yeah, you
from
could do
themselves.
that. And I mean, that's a whole ends justifying the means scenario there. But
I mean, think back to Palpatine the Chancellor, not Palpatine the bony undead lich that we saw in the last
That's
movie.
a really good way to describe him as a lich.
Yeah, he kind of is a lich, isn't he?
Well, there's a lot of parallels between Star Wars and role playing games. In fact, there is a really good Star Wars role playing game. Yeah, let's not. We've already got Dungeons and Dragons on the table. I'm not going to try and sell you on Star Wars.
Roll for force choke. There we go. Oops, got a 1. I choked myself.
So here we are back at force sex jokes.
No. If you want to go there, that's fine. It's like
I did want to go there.
You're a very disturbed man.
Nothing is sacred.
Nothing.
So I think an interesting part was, and I think it is based on what the fans wanted. What did you think of Rey and Ren? in the end.
Kissing.
Well, not just kissing, but I mean helping each other out, and Ren specifically turning away from the dark side. And being,
I
figured
go
that's
ahead.
what was
Please,
going to
please.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always from the very first movie, you can kind of see Ren struggling with Ren's had a really good struggle. Kylo Ren has had a really good struggle with the dark side, and that has been one of the overarching stories of this trilogy is kind of Kylo Ren's redemption arc, as he you can see him trying to kind of do that whole Darth Vader thing where he's desperate to bring Rey to the dark side, Darth Vader was desperate to bring Luke over to the dark side as well. But this arc was kind of about his redemption, and I think they did it. I did approve of how they did his redemption. It's I would have the kiss. I could because I don't care about their little romance thing. But him dying at the end, I thought was very appropriate because I would not have personally bought into Kylo surviving and being the the hero of you can't have you couldn't have had Darth Vader surviving and getting off.
He killed Han Solo.
right.
At some point, he had to die for that. It's that's how these movies work.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems to be a Star Wars thing where
But what about his
when
conversion?
you are redeemed and you
Because
become
that seemed
good,
a
that's
little.
the end of your
I
story.
mean, I'm okay with it. It was actually a nice scene.
Do you know what a shipper is? A shipper is someone who's seeking a tie to a relationship in these movies. It's and a lot of people were shipping for what they call Reylo, which is Rey and Kylo Ren hooking up.
Sure.
And this movie was awesome in terms of it raised all of the shippers' hopes and dashed them quite nicely. But it's
It extended your life 2 years.
They raised up the Reylos and then killed Kylo Ren. That scene where Finn and Poe were hugging, because there's a lot of shippers who want Finn and Poe to get together. Then they didn't kiss.
What?
It's all the romance just fizzled
evaporated.
out. Yeah.
I like Finn and Poe Space Bros.
Space Bros is cool. I do, but
I'd go the other way too, but as long as they're Space Bros, I'm all in because I was rewatching The Force Awakens and just their interactions in that movie are fantastic.
you mean the second movie?
No, the first movie,
The
Force
first?
Awakens.
Okay.
And that I only made it that far in my Star Wars rewatch before going to see The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. So yeah. And Finn gave him a jacket.
So
Or no, Poe gave Finn a jacket. So yeah.
So what did you guys think of Chewie dying, then being alive?
First of all, I want to talk about when did Jedi get to be able to pull starships out of the sky and shoot lightning at the
Video games.
Yeah, but the video games are non-canon. It's
Well, she's a Palpatine.
Video games.
This is unestablished. It just came out of nowhere. And
Well, I
should
mean,
have
we
had
saw
some
Darth Vader
lead-in.
throwing things with the Force.
We
No,
saw
we
the
had,
first.
we had the lightning out of the hands
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
From
Well,
from the start. From Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But it's it seemed a little more intense than.
Yeah.
Well,
I've ever
the
seen
the
before.
other intro was soul possession. Possession, I guess is the way to put it. At the end there, whoever.
Oh, when he was sucking their souls
Well,
out.
no, he said that if you kill me, then I'm going to possess you, as well
Yeah,
as
my
all,
spirit
No,
and all the other
other
Sith
ones.
spirits are gonna flow into you.
And
Well, wasn't Luke really saying that when he said, "You have the Jedi,
Well, possession.
1,000 years of
Yeah.
Jedi
No, I think
inside
that's
you"?
them supporting Rey.
Well, that's
This
not,
is the
Rey
difference
actually
between
said that
the.
to Palpatine, though. I have all the Jedi.
Yeah.
It's just like he said. I
They're
have
not
all the Sith.
in her. He
Well,
was
but-
talking about
but it-
all the Sith
well,
being.
so
her.
so when Darth Vader killed Obi-Wan, then for a little while, cause what I could see is because he's possessed now with a good guy.
Force ghost.
Yeah, so every time Darth Vader gets hungry, Obi-Wan goes, "Hey, I'm in the mood for some sand mice barbecues."
There is an
Right?
excellent comic on that.
Oh, was there? Okay.
No, it was a video. Somebody made an animated video of it. It was like Darth Vader is about to kill Obi-Wan, and he's like, "I'm warning you, if you kill me, he'll become more powerful than you can possibly imagine." And so he kills him, and then it's a bunch of smash cuts between several scenes of Obi-Wan just like haunting Darth Vader, bugging him like in the bathroom when he's jumping out of his closet and making him fall down the stairs.
But so that didn't seem to be up until this end, because Darth Vader killed Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan talked to Luke Skywalker still. And I'm sure there's other... So this was a new... Possession was a new...
So,
I like the idea... I like the idea of this.
They gave us the idea of the Force Ghost in the prequel, which they used to explain what they popped up with in the original trilogy.
And I mean...
They retconned that. And it's like... There's a lot of things in this movie we had absolutely no preparation for, and now there is no preparation because it's over.
Well, and why did Kylo's body vaporize at the end?
Because he became a...
But Darth Vader's didn't.
I don't know. Maybe
You know,
maybe
and
it
why
did,
is it-
and maybe
and,
it
You know,
did.
maybe it did. He was in his armor, so
Yeah.
we don't know if he...
Well, no, but he was dead on the
Yeah.
Death Star, and they had time to take his body down to the planet, and Kylo's gonna let
Leia's
him.
body
And then
was dead for a long time before it kind of became one with the Force in the
but
end.
why
so-
why did her body hang around until Kylo's died?
You have to
Force.
ask,
What's
you have
the,
to
yeah,
ask
but
a-
I mean, no, but I mean, what would be the purpose?
I'm not a resurrection specialist, sir. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Can you work on that?
I will
Look,
work on that.
the Force
I
is
will.
basically space magic, and there's.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I just like
well,
a little
in-
consistency.
No,
I mean,
so-
either you
You want
vaporize
consistency.
immediately
So do I.
or you don't.
And
Okay.
that's the whole
I'm
thing.
on board with this.
I want consistency all across the board.
Well, in writing, there are two different types of magic systems. There is a soft magic system that doesn't have any rules.
Flaccid magic.
Thank you, Linda.
That was epic. That was the most
If
epic groan I've
if
ever
the
heard in my
listeners
life.
couldn't hear that, that was Linda going. Ugh.
I want someone make me a GIF of that. I want
So,
that.
soft magic systems don't have rules, and you can just basically do whatever you want with your magic. It's the magic from Lord of the Rings. You have no definition of what Gandalf can do. He can do whatever the plot
Needs to be done
needs
at the
him to
time.
be done at the time.
Sure.
Hard magic systems have set rules that you have to follow, and the problems in your plot come from the limitations of your magic system. So the Force is a very soft magic system where you just get to make stuff up as you need to do it, and there have never been any limits placed on
So
the Force.
the Force is the sonic screwdriver of the Star Wars universe.
Exactly.
It's a MacGuffin.
It is a MacGuffin. It's just got a lot more forward-facing role than in any other, and lots of other sci-fis. Like he's absolutely right. Doctor Who can do whatever Doctor Who wants to do.
Right.
Whatever he needs to do.
Yeah,
Sonic screwdriver will
he
do.
streams together enough sciencey sounding words, and you're like, oh, well, that's science. No, it's space
Right.
magic.
Right.
And like the Force is really the same way. Like, how can Palpatine do a lightning storm that disables all the ships while cackling evilly? The Force.
How did he come back from a certain death? The Force.
Well, I mean, how were like Rey and Kylo like teleporting objects back and forth between each other?
That was a new
Right.
one too.
Yeah.
That was like,
the hat trick was
Well,
was
and
funny.
actually lightsaber battling,
Yeah.
despite being in different locations.
I know, right?
Yeah. That's
Well,
weird.
how did Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker battle?
Well, Luke
wasn't even on the planet. Yeah.
He was that one was clever though. He was an illusion, and he never made contact with Kylo Ren at any time.
Until
But
the
Their
end.
lightsabers
saber
didn't
did.
meet.
No,
No,
Question.
I don't think they did, because he
No.
came and he swiped him, and Luke just ducked out of the way.
Yeah, but he remember the only thing he had that was physical was those dice.
Oh, he
Remember
did
that?
transport those,
Yeah.
though.
No,
Which-
but they vanished.
Right,
After
which
he died,
disappeared
yeah,
when
they did.
Kylo
Yeah, they
Ren
did.
picked them up. They
Yeah.
No, but
disappeared.
Leia picked them up at the end.
Yeah, and in the
And had them.
end they vanished
Yeah.
after
Did they?
after Luke actually went.
See, this is
became
why
one
I
with the
needed to
Force.
rewatch
Yeah.
The Last Jedi again before
Yeah.
doing this, because I don't remember any of that.
Well, they retconned that in this one, so it doesn't matter now. Because
Well,
apparently
maybe-
these things can be permanent now, so it's like, yeah.
But,
It's like the Magic 8 Ball. It's like, can I do this with the Force? Outlook not good. Okay. Maybe not today.
What
So-
did everybody think about C-3PO and the fact that he had to have that little thing called, what, a baboo or something?
That was his
the
name.
memory wipe?
Yeah, the memory wipe. Was that necessary? I mean,
No.
that seemed like an extra
It was.
piece of
it
junk
was,
in there.
yeah. Why would you install comprehension of a language into a droid that it can't use? It seems
Right.
like, and you
Right.
compartmentalize it, which, it's weird. You put up a firewall to keep him
I mean, let me show you
Right.
some of my code sometime, and you'll ask, was that really necessary a lot? And,
But I mean, that little baboo guy, he started reminding me of Jar Jar Binks. Because he had the little and the cutesy talk, and I was like, no,
this is
why this?
Yeah,
once
I
again,
saw-
that's Star Wars for you. Ever since Ewoks, this has been
yeah,
established.
that's just it. I saw little George Lucas going, it's like, because he had a choice after the second movie, episode 5, of how Star Wars was going to go. It could be serious or it could turn into a kids movie, and George went kids movie. And that was just appealing to the fans who have been a fan of the kids movie.
Selling
Babu
toys.
Frick. Babu Frick was his name.
Yep.
And now there's some rumors that he might be even more popular than Baby Yoda as a toy.
Well, we'll never see
No.
him again, so I mean, I don't really.
I mean, we've got at least 10 more years of Star Wars movies already planned out, so...
All right. What did you think of the rest of those? I don't know what you call them, pirates, brigands, like led by that Bliss
Han, or Pose,
Pose, yeah,
Gr-
whatever.
romantic
Who
interest,
was
maybe?
so mad she wanted to shoot him, and then 15 seconds later, it's like, okay.
He's trying to
I
get it
missed
on
you.
with him.
Yeah,
Well, she's like, oh, damn, I forgot how pretty you were,
Yeah.
and not...
I guess. And I would have liked
It
to see
was
her without her
kinda
helmet on.
That helmet looked pretty cool.
It did. That was a sharp
See,
costume
I
look,
thought
but-
this movie... I thought this movie was serving dual purposes. It was wrapping up the trilogy and expanding the universe so that they had more jumping off points
How? How so?
by introducing more characters.
Okay, yeah, no, I see that. Oh, Lando. Do you think a Lando movie is something that they should pursue?
That would be kind of fun. I don't
think
know
that
if
would be fun.
like Lando's got a lot of fun material that they could.
They could do.
Yeah,
And was that girl? I mean,
his daughter is
yeah,
what I heard.
that's what I heard too. And it's like, but why would
His
his
daughter
let his
what?
daughter become a stormtrooper?
See, I hope they don't go that way because like the they did a really good job with representation in this trilogy. It's like not everyone is just a white person in space, but it would be kind of in poor taste to have two of the three kind of lead black actors be related to each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's,
yeah. But
yeah.
but personality-wise, Lando would be the best candidate, I think, for being a deadbeat dad.
Ah!
Based on his
Personality.
personal nature,
Yeah.
his rogue and scoundrel thing. It's like, but of course they explain away as a child that he didn't really know about until recently, because you can't, really have a show like episode 10, the deadbeat dad returns.
And I mean, I could see them
can't
doing
have it.
a movie that focused on her and had him kind of along in the Han Solo older grizzled mentor role.
I would like that. I think I would like that.
Or maybe there is room in the Star Wars movie pantheon for a father-daughter romp across the universe, getting to know each other.
Could be. Yeah, should we talk about The Mandalorian a little bit?
I don't know a lot about The Mandalorian.
How many episodes have you seen?
One.
One?
Yeah.
I think I've seen 3,
I've
maybe
seen 4.
2.
See, I stopped watching The Mandalorian when you said we weren't going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about The Expanse.
Now the
And so
finger
I watched
pointing
all-
begins.
No, I watched.
But
all
you've seen the
Expanse,
first
but
episode, so based
yeah.
on the first episode, what's your opinion?
I think that The Mandalorian should be called The Babysitter.
I
I do. It's like, honestly, I mean, it's like the idea of a 50-year-old infant is dumb, but it's like other than that, it's cute. It is. I mean, and it's like The Mandalorian.
Sounds really awful.
It's not that bad. It's actually it expands. I think The Mandalorian expands the Star Wars universe more than the Rise of the Skywalker did. To tell you the truth, it kind of makes it much more colorful. And
Yeah,
it's
at the
really
end of
well done.
at the end of episode 4, I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, all right, I've seen enough of Baby Yoda. Let's do something else. Now, that said, one of the guys at work, he's through episode 7, and he said 6 and.
Are you about to throw down some major
No.
spoilers?
No. He said that those next 2 episodes are much different in tone than the first set, and that you'll like them a lot better. And you've seen them. Would you agree with that? Or
No, I've only seen the first 3 episodes.
oh, that's right. So nobody's got nobody's further than episode 4.
Everybody loves The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It's like it's literally they're looking at Jon Favreau to resurrect the Star Wars universe in his image now because, and I agree with him. It's like it's fun.
Yeah, what I've seen so far, I have really enjoyed. Like, it's very Star Wars, very well done. I like the lore they're building, or they're using with the Mandalorians, and
Like the bounty hunter IG-88.
that was a really cool
sweet.
scene.
Yeah.
I never thought about it. The only thing I ever saw of him was on Empire Strikes Back, where he's standing there with everybody. He fights like a
You'd expect a droid
like
should
a
fight.
Yes,
boss. Yeah,
right.
He's like It's like that was sweet.
Yeah.
I
He's
how
like
they
a
did that.
Terminator.
Yeah, he's actually better than a Terminator. So
Definitely a higher success record.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a Terminator without being locked in the human form. So his head can twist in all directions. He can.
His torso and his guns and everything.
Yeah, I thought
Murder
that was
droids
sweet.
are the best.
Yeah.
Murder droids are the best. Yes.
But
So that's what Seth
that
wants for
said,
Christmas.
do you think that the Mandalorian would have been able to get the drop on him like he did?
The drop on
The
droid?
Like,
T-88?
should he
Yeah.
have been able to get the
Yeah.
drop on him? Sure.
Well, he did in the end.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I don't
but
see
I'm just
how,
saying.
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
that-
don't see why the droid didn't, actually think that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Doesn't understand emotions. It's like, how is he supposed to know that how would his programming have predicted that the badass Mandalorian who just slaughtered so many people with him was just like, no, baby cute, want.
well, but I mean, human
I'ma adopt this.
human responses to neotenous features like that is kind of something that should be programmed into a
and-
basic understanding of people.
Wouldn't the droid have been able to detect a weapon aimed at him?
You'd think, especially since he had sensors everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, from the ships fighting out in space, they can say,
He did just take a lot
"Hey,
of damage, though.
they've just targeted us
Yeah.
with their phase cannon."
Yeah.
I mean, people know when you've got a gun pointed at them.
Well, he
The
did just
droid
take
should
a
know that.
ton of
He
damage.
did.
so
He did just got shot a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
so maybe the Mandalorian just got lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
So what's
9
with-
times out of 10, IG-88 would have killed him before he could have pulled the trigger.
So what's with Baby Yoda? I mean, I know we call him Baby Yoda, but what is it really? Because
Well,
obviously it's not Yoda
It's
as
a
a baby.
50-year-old member of Yoda's species.
A
Right.
blatant
Yeah, it's like-
attempt at toy sales.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I agree.
This is where the Star Wars universe is going into
Yeah.
marketing.
Right.
This is where the Star Wars
this
universe is
is-
always
I know,
going.
Yeah,
but
This
I
is
think
them heading
Disney's gonna
towards
kick
because
it
I
up
remember
another gear, and that
the
might not be
Baby
bad.
Muppets cartoon coming
This
out
might be some
Yeah.
cool stuff.
George
that-
Lucas said with the
What?
first movie,
a long
we're
time
not making
ago.
movies,
Oh.
we're
Baby
selling
Muppets.
toys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, after the success of the first movie, that's where they made a lot of their money, is
Yeah.
selling
Well, that's
Selling
toys.
actually
toys,
where Lucas made
That's
most
what
of
a
his
lot
money.
of companies make money
He kept
on
100%
anymore
of
is
the
the
concession
merchandising.
sales on those toys. So
Yeah.
it's like
It was the whole merchandising thing that
Yeah.
fucked up Star Trek.
Well, it's all right.
Right?
The theater, whoever produced the first Star Wars, I think it was Fox, thought it was going to tank, and they actually Lucas agreed to waive some of his fees So he'd have these merchandising, contracts, and it's like, then Fox now to this day probably realizes how messed up, how bad they messed up on that. But it's like Lucas is rich. Boy, he's sure not happy about this last
movie.
I don't think he's happy about the trilogy, the sequel trilogy. Which it's like I just want to hear him shut up because dude, you got paid over $4 billion.
Yeah,
$4 billion buys a lot of butt salve to make you feel better.
Let's be honest, George. The prequel trilogy wasn't great.
No, it was not.
Like there were parts of the prequel trilogy that I unapologetically love. But the love story angle, the origin of Darth Vader, those things I do not like.
You know what really bothered me is that, like, I saw the original trilogy first, and it's like I was like, oh, Luke's a Jedi now. And it's like, and then I saw how Jedi really fight.
Yeah.
And it's like I was watching episode 6 before I came here, and Luke is just basically acting like your dwarf barbarian. It's just
you don't know how my dwarf barbarian acts yet.
I know how barbarians act.
No, you
don't. I do.
Not all barbarians.
All right. Well, all right. Are you going to be whacking with axes while sipping tea with your finger up?
Oh no, I'm going to be very happy.
Yeah, but if you watch it, Luke's just hacking away. It's like rather than the Jedi,
they had
leaping.
They had no fencing in. And then the prequel trilogy. Like, that's something I loved was the lightsaber battling in the prequel trilogy. And, like, seeing, like, just a horde of Jedi fighting together. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved seeing Yoda go all out. That was so much fun.
What do you think would have happened if they sent Obi-Wan after the Emperor?
It probably would have died.
You think? Because, I mean, Yoda did not do so well. Could Yoda have taken the Chosen One on Mustafar?
Oh, yeah. Yoda wouldn't have been as emotionally involved in that. Yoda would have just Anakin would have jumped out above the lava and Yoda just would have pushed him
right into it.
Easy this was.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, that's not carbonite.
Train you not as a Jedi, I wanted not to.
Yeah.
Followed him out over the lava. Why did you?
Background I have.
So from a woman's perspective, I thought it was nice to see the hero be a heroine.
Yes.
And be a strong female character, as opposed to when you looked at the original first three. Here's Princess Leia running around in, quite frankly, her robe. They wouldn't let her wear a bra under it in the first place.
There were only two women in the entire Star Wars universe for most of the Star Wars universe.
And the third one, was it? No, whenever she went to save Han Solo and she was dressed in they ended up dressing her in a slave outfit.
Yeah, but
it was really nice to see a strong woman fully clothed.
But now Jyn Erso in Rogue One was the same type of character.
But that's very recent.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like,
but I'm saying
I'm just saying females have come up. Yeah. We're much better off now.
To Linda's point, Rey's character also was not very she wasn't female coded. Like, she got a very good battle with the dark side and her own anger. And I thought that was an excellent part of the movie, is she wasn't... They did not brand her as the princess or a princess. She was right up in there battling Kylo.
I noticed they
technically she was, though.
They went back and forth.
Palpatine's daughter.
But they didn't brand her as that.
Right, and they went back and forth even with Leia. Numerous times when they almost said princess and general, they would change it to general right away. So that's good.
Well,
it's a good
she's
thing.
laying there under the blanket. All dead. No, somebody called her princess.
Princess, and then somebody else said general.
But I mean,
it might have been a term of endearment. It meant that way anyway. But
they just like Sean.
Oh.
They did that. They actually did a lot subtly
your eyes are smoldering just a little.
They
Not
did.
a lot,
They
just a
did a
tiny
lot
bit.
subtly in this one too, where if you listen to the stormtrooper voices, a lot of them were women.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I like that. I like Rey. I like Jen Erso as
Well,
powerful.
that's not helpful though, because the stormtroopers could never shoot very well.
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
know
Stormtrooper
where
That doesn't help the
conditioning-
women's cause.
I-
That's all.
Well, no.
I think it's just like the stormtrooper.
if
cause
their
at
if
this
their
point.
shooting is not gender specific and its awfulness, I don't.
Well,
Yeah, that's-
maybe.
Equality right there.
it is.
Yeah.
It's like
every
everybody sucks.
every stormtrooper sucks the same.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So,
Indeed.
I asked earlier, but we didn't get around to it. So, Chewie dying and then coming back. What'd you guys think?
When did he die?
Well, when the ship exploded, everybody
They
thought he
thought-
was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Everybody thought he died.
Yeah.
Gives you
It's
that
a
emotional punch of, oh god, they just killed Chewie.
Where
Cheap
did,
trick.
Yeah.
Where did the other ship come from? I only saw one ship, and then they destroyed that one ship, and it's like, oh, he was on the other one. What other one? I didn't
Yeah.
see two. I never saw two.
Well, they were behind the rock.
See, yeah, but it's like, this is low-hanging fruit. You can easily
And we
give me
didn't see
two
the other
ships.
one take off, and you should have seen
We didn't see the other one at all.
Right.
There's only one ship. And then
Well, that was that goes with the sleight of hand that the Jedi's were doing too. There's this whole sleight of hand theme, and Palpatine showing up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all a shell game, right?
So so the real title should have been Episode 9, 3-Card Monty by the
That's
Emperor.
right. That's right.
It's like,
Huh.
is this your card? Is this your card?
That would have been hilarious. Is this your card? Come here, come here.
Come here.
You had this in your ear the whole time.
What did everybody think about the scene that was supposed to be so emotional with C-3PO, where they were going to wipe his memory, and he's taking a last look at his friends? It didn't. It seemed a little superficial to me
I
because
think that
most
was
of
a
those people
soundbite
he barely
created for the
knew.
commercial. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah, I think just like Chewie's death, it was kind of robbed of its impact
Yeah.
by him getting his memory back.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I read the other day on the internet was, and I think it was a good point, was that they had that character that we mentioned earlier, that Babu Frick, wipe his memory, but it might have had more emotional potential if his memory had been wiped by somebody closer to him, like R2-D2, for example. What if R2-D2 had been forced to wipe his memory? Those two being best friends and all, and R2 not wanting to do it.
why did they leave R2-D2?
That's
I
another
can't-
question.
I can't figure that out. They just
Right.
left him.
Merchandising. They
But-
had the new cute droid.
But yeah, but they can take the Q droid and R2-D2. There's no, you know.
Well,
it's
they
like-
wanted the new cone-shaped droid. They didn't want to have 3 droids taking up screen time. Now they,
I mean,
now they
Now
got a new
they've got
droid.
a new Lego set to build. They've got new little remote control guys they can
They
sell.
got a little Babu Frick character they can sell, along with Baby Yoda.
I mean, really, merchandising,
Right.
merchandising. Where the real money from the movies made.
Yeah.
Star Wars the flamethrower. Star Wars the action figure.
That
Star
was a-
Wars the breakfast cereal.
That was the funny thing, is when we were sitting at the theater at the Alamo Draft House Friday night, where we saw it the first time, they had a curated pre-show thing, and they were showing just all these different Star Wars commercials throughout the history of Star Wars. And some of the earlier ones from the late 70s and early 80s were just hysterical, you know, all the different play sets they had, and you know, and it was just kind of fun to watch all that, and the hype, and the kids playing, you know, oh, Darth Vader, you know, and going on, and it was pretty fun to watch all that.
Yeah, they're also going to have rescue droids.
What?
What?
Because the one little droid had been abused by his owner.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
okay.
So just like
that would be adorable.
Rescue
Oh,
droids.
that would be adopted droid.
Adopt a
Wouldn't
droid.
that be a fun, cute little
Adopt a-
series?
Yes.
No, don't do it.
Okay, so any final thoughts? Like, we're running up on time, but there's
Yeah.
a lot. We could probably talk about more about Star Wars next time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
We
we can
will.
talk about the
Probably will,
Mandalorian
yeah.
certainly because we
Yeah,
should
we'll
all be
catch
through
up
by
on
then.
that.
Maybe.
But I mean, overall, I don't think. I mean, it's.
It was.
I mean, I liked it. It was good entertainment.
It was a fun movie.
It could have been better in some spots. In
I'm
some
glad
respects,
that it's
but-
over, and I'm not glad it's over. But
There was
like,
no coming back from the second trilogy anyway.
Yeah.
But however you put that,
The prequel trilogy.
The prequel trilogy. Because once you ruin something, you ruined it.
What?
No, it didn't
But
ruin
it
it.
didn't
It
ruin
ruined it.
No, it didn't.
I feel that Rise or
And once
The
you
Last
have an
Jedi
over
did
actor
much
play
more
Darth
to-
Vader, it was
No,
over.
it didn't.
I feel the Last Jedi did more to damage the franchise than the prequels did.
No, it
I
didn't.
like the
I
Last
like
Jedi.
The Last
It was
Jedi
cool.
was good.
It seemed right to me. I mean, you had Luke, just like his mentors, Yoda and Obi-Wan, went off into the wilderness by himself and eschewed everything else to be alone. Yoda exiled himself on Dagobah.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan on Tatooine, out in the wilderness,
Obi-Wan
hiding.
to watch Luke, Yoda.
But
to,
he was still doing nothing. He was effectively exiled.
But
Yeah.
Luke actually.
And was
tried
he
to
really
kill
watching?
his own Padawan and failed.
And was he really watching him?
So-
Because Luke didn't even know. I wondered if he's talking about that Ben Kenobi.
The best kind of observer is when you don't know he's there. It's like
Well, either way, we're like,
I do wish that.
it's over.
No, it's over.
no,
Yeah.
it's not.
There-
It's only
there's-
begun.
Well, the saga.
The
Skywalker
the
saga's
whole
over.
you have the Dark Force person going boom 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 boom. Go ahead and hit me, and you'll be part of the dark side. And I would have thought at some point the Jedi's would have, because it seems like an old trick at this point. You know what I mean? And we've gone through it with Luke. We've gone to that they would have had the by the way, here's what you say in your role, like business training or something.
Just go ahead and stab them and then go. No, I'm not Sith.
Yeah, or
Like just like, yeah, if you the whole thing is like killing them in your anger. So you just like count to 10.
Yeah.
2,
Right.
3. Okay. Now you're
there should
set.
be there
Right.
should be a solution to this that other than because even this last the solution didn't quite because I had to almost make because Palpatine attacks her with the lightning fingers
Mm-hmm.
and she does the cross
Yeah.
and then
See, I thought that
he
was
gets himself, I guess.
Well, no, that was a good callback though to
Mace Windu and
Yeah.
Yeah.
like how he
episode
got
3.
scarred.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like he scarred himself with that, and then all he had to do was stop lightning fingers her and do anything else, and
Yeah.
he could
Right.
have beaten her.
Yeah.
But he did the Sith thing, which he just gave into his anger, and it killed him. Like
Yeah.
that
I
was a
would've
good callback and like a good reference to Sith versus Jedi.
Just once, I would like to see the Sith say, "Release your anger, strike me down," and this thing, and then whoever they're talking to, Luke or Ray or whatever, she just says, "Whatever, whack."
Oh, yeah. No,
You
you want it. There's part of me that wants the Indiana Jones scene. Where
Yeah,
the,
right,
where the
right,
guy's doing the,
right. And the guy pulls out the gun.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
or
the Jedi
maybe-
phasers him.
Or maybe like a Sith who's being chased by a Jedi, and they're like, "I don't care if I'm so pissed at you. I'm gonna kill you." And then they're like, "No, we're good. We are good. We are good. Just chill out, man. Be less angry. Be less angry."
Right.
But
You're going
where
awful
did
dark.
Kylo Ren get the ability to become one with the Force? Because the whole point of the last movie of the prequels, it involved training. It's like Qui-Gon somehow got a message to Yoda, who got a message.
Well,
to
he was
Obi-Wan
in
or
training with Luke
Yeah, but
at that academy.
I mean,
We don't know how long he was
all
there.
right. So they didn't complete the training, and I can't assume that.
No, but he was
that
close
Force
enough that.
resurrection was.
But he was close enough that Palpatine caught on to him and decided that he wanted to recruit him. So he must have been pretty well down the road.
Can the Sith become one with the Force and live
See,
forever? I thought that was.
I
a
think
Jedi
that their equivalent of that is the possession thing that Palpatine was doing. But I think we've got enough to maybe talk about next week. I think we're already well over time, according to our producer.
Right. All right. Well,
whose groan is still echoing through the room.
Yeah. We'll just go around real quick. Watch the movie or don't watch it?
Watch it.
Watch it. Of course.
Watch it.
It's Star Wars,
It's
man.
a really good funeral.
Watch it.
Yeah. Watch it. Yeah.
Watch
it. Watch it.
No, it was
Very
fun.
good.
It was fun. It's a fun movie.
I'm going to watch it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Watch it at least once.
All right.
Bring your lightsaber.
Tune in next time. We'll be talking about The Expanse, and we'll be talking about The Mandalorian.
Probably more Star Wars in general.
More Star Wars in general, and maybe Lost in Space. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up.
I'm not going to be able to see Lost in Space.
Oh, man. All right.
I've only got so much time, man.
We can put that off. And let me just throw out there real quick. We have a cross-show tie-in with Benito that we're going to be doing here. In January, we're going to be filming that in January, and we're going to be going to his place. We're doing a Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Yeah.
And we've already been over there to his place. We've rolled our new characters, and so maybe we can allow a little bit of time next time to talk about that.
So, yeah, keep your eye both on our channel and
Go
Benito.
RPG.
Yeah, Go RPGs. There will be news on that on Facebook, both ours and theirs.
Yes. And you're playing what character?
My character is Agram Ironhands.
And he
is a dwarf barbarian.
Okay, and John, you're playing?
I'm playing a Tabaxi bard named Copious Homewood.
Okay, and I'm going to be playing a dragonborn character, Benzonian Tauren. And Jenna's playing, do you know?
She is going to be a tiefling rogue.
Okay.
Unnamed as of yet.
All right.
Mysterious,
unnamed. All right. So we have that coming up, and so that'll be fun to watch. So we'll Benito's going to be recording that whole campaign live, and then he's going to be showing it on his channel, and he'll give us the footage, and we can run it on ours as well. So
all right. Well,
should be a fun deal.
Yeah. So if you guys like what we're doing here, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, podcast.com, a variety of things. Give us a subscribe, like us, leave us a comment. I still want to see some iTunes comments. And anything else?
I don't think so. So thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
May the Force be with you.
And always with you.
And also with you.
Oh, yeah, always.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.